For this video, we're going to look at Wednesday's assignment where we had to convert each standard form equation into slope-intercept form. And the nice thing about this assignment is that all the problems are pretty much solved the same exact way. So in theory, if you're allowed to solve number one, you should be able to finish all of the other problems. Before we look at some of the solutions, let's review what standard form is and what slope-intercept form is. So standard form is written as ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are just numbers, and x and y are variables. So what you're going to notice is that the x and the y live on the same side of your equal sign. They're both on the left side of my equal sign. A couple examples would be something like 2x plus 3y is equal to 10. Or you can have 6x plus 8y is equal to 50. While slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, you're going to notice that the y is all by itself. In fact, the only number allowed to be in front of your y is a 1. This says 1y, we just don't write the 1. If there's any other number in front of the y, it is not in slope-intercept form. You need the y isolated by itself. So now that we know we're going to be isolating the y, let's begin with number 3. I went ahead and put the y in purple to make it stand out. That's what we care about. So to isolate the y, I need to get rid of everything else. I need to get rid of the 3, and I need to get rid of the 4x. Well, the question is, which one do I get rid of first? Well, you're always going to get rid of the stuff further away first. Since the 3 is next to the y, I'm not going to worry about them right now. I'm going to worry about the 4x. For many of us, it might not be obvious how you're going to get rid of the 4x, so I'm going to go and rewrite the problem to make it a little clearer. I'm going to put the 3y first and the 4x second. So now it should be more obvious to us, how do I get rid of adding 4x? Well, we do the opposite. The opposite of adding 4x is subtract 4x to both sides. So on the left side, the 4x and the negative 4x will cancel. And on the right side, 9 and negative 4x, I can't combine those. One of them is a number, while the other one has a variable. So they're not like terms, so I can't combine them. So I'm just going to bring them both down. So I'm going to have 3y is equal to, I bring down the negative 4x, and I bring down the positive 9. I'm now going to get rid of the 3. Well, remember that when you put a number next to a variable, that means multiplication. This says 3 times y. And the opposite of multiplying is to divide. So I'm going to divide everything by 3. The 3 divided by 3 will cancel to 1, so you're going to have 1y left over. The negative 4/3, I can't simplify that. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put the negative from the top. I'm going to put it in the middle. It's the way I like to write my fractions. You don't need to do this. I just prefer to put the negative in the middle. So I'm now going to have negative 4/3 x. And then 9 divided by 3, well, that obviously simplifies. 9 divided by 3 is simply 3. So our final answer, our slope-intercept form, is y equals negative 4/3 x plus 3. Let's look at number 9. Once again, I need to get the y by itself. So I need to get rid of the 6 and the x. I'm going to get rid of the x first since it's further away. Since this is a positive x, the opposite is to subtract x on both sides. I'm going to have 6y is equal to negative x minus 2. Once again, I bring down both of these pieces since I can't combine them. One's a number, one's a variable, so I just bring them both down. I now get rid of the 6 by dividing. I divide everything by 6. The 6 and the 6 cancel, so I'm left with just y. Negative x over 6. Well, remember, there's a negative 1 here, so this just says negative 16x. So I rewrote it as negative 16x. And then the negative 2/6 I just brought down. Before you box this, you want to make sure, can you simplify your fractions? Or are you done? Well, I can actually simplify negative 2 over 6. I can divide the top and the bottom by 2. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1, and 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. So I can actually rewrite negative 2/6 as negative 1/3. So this is the best answer. This is your simplified answer. Y equals negative 16x minus 1/3. For number 10, same idea. I'm going to get the y by itself, so I'm going to get rid of the 4x first. The opposite of positive 4x is to subtract 4x on both sides. I can't combine these, so I bring them both down. So I'm going to have 5y equal to negative 4x plus 4. Now to get rid of the 5, I divide everything by 5. I get y equals negative 4/5 x plus 4 over 5. 4/5 cannot be simplified. There's nothing that divides the top and the bottom besides 1, and dividing by 1 doesn't do anything. So there's nothing to divide by. So we can go and box our answer. And finally, let's look at number 12. I'm going to begin by getting rid of the 6x. Since it's a positive 6x, we're going to do the opposite, which says subtract. Can't combine these, so I bring them both down. And now to get rid of the negative 14, I divide everything by negative 14. The negative 14 and the negative 14 will cancel. A negative 6 over a negative 14, well, negative divided by a negative always becomes a positive. So I'm now going to have 6 over 14x. And then an 18 divided by a negative 14, a positive divided by a negative will always be a negative. So I'm going to have a negative 18 over 14. And now I'm going to look, can I simplify these fractions? Well, yeah, I can simplify 6 over 14. 6 and 14 can both be divided by 2. 6 divided by 2 gives me 3, and 14 divided by 2 gives me 7. And then 18 over 14, yeah, I can also simplify that one. I can divide both of those by 2 as well. 18 divided by 2 will give me 9, and 14 divided by 2 will give me 7. So I can now rewrite this answer as y equals 3/7 x minus 9 over 7, or 9/7. This is the best answer. This is your simplified answer. Go ahead and box it, and you're done with number 12.